Howdy bubs and welcome back. Today we're jumping into GameMaker to continue our work with our game, and now I'm going to show you how to implement a simple health bar and give you a couple of options on how you can implement the representation for it. So jumping in, this will of course have to deal with our player. We have to keep track of a couple of bits of information. The most important relevant one is our HP. Now, I want to make sure that whenever we work with our health bar, everything is more or less similar across whoever we decide to attach the health bar to. Now you can throw it onto just the player, or you can attach it to the enemies as well. Over in the enemy, under our create event, we had a value defined its health as HP. I'm going to rename this to HP max, and also just set HP to be equal to HP max. This is necessary so that way we can keep track of the maximum health that our item has and the current HP, which is what the system's working with. The maximum is necessary for making sure the health bar works. Over in the player side, we need to follow the same structure. We have HP max, and I'm going to set it to, let's just say 100 to make things simple. HP is going to be set equal to HP max. Now that we have these two values in, I'm going to create a separate object called our health bar. obj underscore health bar. This is going to keep track of everything we need in relation to the health bar for anything that we implement. And this draws health bar. We need to first make sure we know where our health bar is. And we just have one line we need to deal with. Draw underscore health bar. We specify the location. So we need to have some association with another object. I'm going to simply refer to the other object, either the player or if you decide to implement it for the enemies or any other random objects. I'm just going to refer to it as parent. Parent X, parent Y, and then X2 and X3 associated with the right corner. Because the first X and Y values are associated with the top left. We need to specify the bottom right now for X2 and Y2. This essentially is how big do you want your health bar to be. I want it to be the size of my player or the object's sprite, so it's the full length of it. And so I'm going to do parent dot sprite underscore width. I'm going to push this down to the next line to make it easier to read. Parent dot for the Y2, it's just how tall it is. Actually, I might just make this like 10 pixels. We'll play around with this number to see how it looks. The amount. This is going to show what percentage is filled. And so I'm going to actually just call this percentage, and this is equal to parent dot HP divided by parent dot max, HP max. And so percentage is there. And then now this is whether we specify a background color, the minimum color, the maximum color, direction, all of those components. Those come in next. So I'm going to use this. You can of course change this up at your own convenience. I'm going to specify we're going to have a black background. Then this is the color when we have no health, so red. This can be the color when we're at full health. Lime. Then where is the, I guess, bottom of the health bar? I'm going to specify the left side, which is 0. You can have it specified on the right side, which is 1, the top, which is 2, the bottom, which is 3. Again, it's based off how you end up structuring your health bar. or the bar in general. This is just called health bar, but it can represent anything. It operates how you would traditionally think a health bar would work. Whether we show the background, I'm going to set this to be true. And then finally, whether you have a 1 pixel border around everything, I'm going to also set this to be true. So now it simply draws the health bar at our parent's origin point, and then it says wide is our parent, and it covers the percentage. This, of course, is going to look wrong once we actually put it into play. And we're going to modify this to make sure it lines up correctly. Actually, we can do some of the math already. Since our origins should typically be the center of our objects, then that means if we want to get the x value to be the bottom, or sorry, the left side, it would see b player dot left b box left. This will grab the mask left side, and so for our purposes, it should be the left. The y will also be the center, so I'm going to do not y, but b box top. Specify sprite width, and then it's just the height, 10 pixels. So here by itself, the health bar draws it, and that's it. We need to actually attach this to our item, and that is why in our player, in our create event, after we set our health value, I'm going to do instance underscore create layer, and I'm going to go ahead and associate this with, it doesn't matter the location because the health bar already is going to set itself to a new spot, and I want this to be in the same layer it already is in, so it'll place the layer as where the player is, or in the case of the enemies, in the enemy layer. And then what are we creating? We're creating a health bar. And so now this should create a player health bar. Now that we have created this, I'm going to do a with clause because I need to specify the fact that we're going to create a parent relationship. The parent is equal to other. What this does is whenever we say for the health bar to do anything, the parent that is referred to in our code that we just wrote is the other thing. In the context of this with clause, the other thing is our player. When we copy this and throw it into our enemy, the other is now the enemy in question. Okay, I did a couple of mistakes here. If we go back to our health bar itself, I did some of the calculations incorrect. So the second portion, whenever we specify the width, I incorrectly just specified the width. I have to relate it in respect to the left side because this is the absolute position it is. So we're referencing the left side of our bounding box for the parent object plus the sprite width. So that way it goes the full length of it. With it just this, it was thinking it was the position of the sprite width, which messed up the placement. And same thing over here. It's the parent bounding box top minus 10, so that way it goes up 10 pixels. So now with this, if we run it, we should now be able to see our health bars. It looks great. But you'll notice one little oddity. The health bars stick around after the parent has been destroyed. So we run into a slight problem. We're going to have to update our health bar code to make sure that we delete the health bar once the parent no longer exists. So we can actually address it inside of where we create the health bar. We can just specify for the other dot bar is equal to self. And so the other in this case being the enemy is going to have a thing called bar, and it's just referring to what we're creating right here. And in the destroy event for the enemy, I'm simply going to specify when we destroy ourselves, we will also instance underscore destroy, and then I will specify the bar. So now whenever I destroy that, you can see the bar vanishes. We can confirm that if I go up here, yep, we don't see any bar. And so this is a very simple health bar system that stays with all of our enemies. Now you can get far more creative with this. If you instead wanted to have a health bar that was existed for the player in a separate location, you can just do the draw health bar and slap it onto the player in its draw event. After you do draw self, you could also draw the health bar and set this rather than being in relation to where the player currently is. You can just set it at the top of the screen. Let me go ahead and demonstrate what that looks like. I'm going to go to the player. I'm going to add a draw event. This is going to be draw static health bar. I'm going to copy and paste this here, but I'm going to specify it now. The top position, I'm going to set this to be 100 pixels in. Let's do 50 pixels. 50 pixels into the room. Be 50 pixels down. How long is it going to be? I'll just make it pixels wide, 70 pixels down. So that'll make it 20 pixels wide, 300 pixels wide, 20 pixels long, and then percentage is going to be again equal to HP divided by HP max, quantity times 100. Same settings. So now we should have that working. Oh, and then most importantly, draw underscore self. Otherwise, it won't actually draw the player. And this will be var, because this is temporary. Let me make sure I did that in the health bar. Yeah, var. So now we should be able to run this. And there we go. We have a static health bar. It should show the same value everywhere else, because right now the player does not take any damage. Depending on how you want to set things up to implement the player taking damage, you have a couple of options. Over in the player event, I'm going to add a collision with the enemy. We have only one player, but multiple enemies, so there's technically less calculations if we're only checking against the player. Take damage. HP is going to be subtracted by 0.001. We can try that. We'll see how quickly it goes. So anytime that we are making contact with an enemy, we take this much damage per step. So you see it slowly goes down. Maybe I can increase it to 1/10 rather than 1/100. There we go. I'm taking more damage. Maybe I can even change it to 0.5. That's reasonable. And as we can see, the health is correctly updating. And then as they all come, and there we go, my health bar vanishes. Now, I'll handle loss conditions later on, but for the time being, we now have a functioning health bar, both a static one that exists in the top left, as well as one that hovers over our player. At the end of the day, it's up to you which one you want to implement. There's different ways you can play around with representing player health. I've had students create portraits that change in the bottom left to represent your health in addition to the bar, or independent of that and just using the portrait. This is your game. It is your choice how you wish to implement this. If you have any questions or need any assistance, just let me know in class. Otherwise, that's all we've got for now. Everyone have a good one. I just wanted to say thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Shout out to my bad bubs, my top 5, my day ones. Y'all have always been there for me. Next up, my baby bubs, the next 5. I always love y'all's support. And finally, for everyone else, any little bit helps. Thank you to all my basic bubs for supporting me along my journey. If you want to continue receiving notifications, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell button.